Hey viewers, you are welcome to Wisdomreality TV, where you are been enlightened, entertained and also informed on the issues of life and its principles. Okay, let's look into today's topic. In today's topic we gonna be looking at a very important aspect in our life which I title, The Principles of Creativity. When we talk about creativity, we're talking about the ability to create, which that's what creativity means. We will be talking more on how we can improve on our creative ability and also productivity in our lives. If you are new here and you haven't subscribed, please endeavor to do so. Stay tuned, we will be right There is a saying in the law of creativity that says creative geniuses tend to be less the ones with the quickest answers and more the ones who keep working till they get it right. And that brings us far back in the 1880s, where Frederick Winslow Taylor was able to make dramatic gains in efficiency by timing workers performing road tasks. His efforts spawned the idea and practice of scientific management. Alas, these days routine jobs, even white-collar ones such as bookkeeping, legal research and basic medical diagnoses are increasingly being automated by computers. Others fall prey to globalization and are outsourced. So to compete in today's marketplace, you have to be able to create. That's much different than just working faster or harder or longer. The good news is that, while we can't all be a Picasso or a Mozart, there are some simple principles we can follow that will enhance our ability to originate ideas that are truly new and important. The first principle of creativity is what call, define and distill the problem. Einstein once said that, if I had 20 days to solve a problem, I would take 19 days to define it. It's important to build in constraints that will frame a possible solution and, as Robert Weisberg points out in his book Creativity, brainstorming often fails for exactly this reason. Moreover, as we pointed out in an earlier post about technology, the things we create are not monolithic, but combinations of components. So if you are searching for creative solutions, it's important that you frame and target an area ripe for innovation. Creativity doesn't happen in a vacuum, but is only valuable in service of some goal, whether that is a particular idea to be expressed in a painting or a poem, value created by a new business model or the brand to be promoted in a marketing campaign. Simply throwing around crazy ideas never accomplishes anything. Putting to work actually does, and that's where creativity come in place. The next principle is learning the rules before you set out to break them. Very strange, while we commonly view creativity as the product of brilliant flashes, the reality is exactly the opposite. This paper details a wealth of research that suggests that creativity comes only after years of preparation. Harvard's Howard Gardner reported similar results in his study chronicling 7 of history's greatest geniuses, creating minds. And it's not only a matter of putting in your time. As Anders Ericsson describes in his highly cited, decades-long study, it takes deliberate practice, which involves working on weak areas, seeking out feedback and continual improvement. No day at the beach. There are, of course, stories of brilliant innovations coming from seemingly instant insights. However, as this article shows, in reality either the innovator in question had been working on the problem for a long time or that they had intense knowledge of the subject matter that alerted them to the significance of a happy accident. The evidence on this point couldn't be clearer. Successful creative people spend years learning their fields before they begin to change them. So if you want to create something truly new and different, your best bet is to start by learning your field extremely well. And that where learning the rules before you set out to break them comes in, because creativity is little more about excellent in performance. The next principle is called, hedge your bets. We often see great innovators as big dreamers, who threw caution to the wind and bet everything on one big idea. The reality is much more complicated than that. Probably the greatest burst of creativity the world has ever seen was Einstein's miracle year, in which he unleashed 3 papers which changed the world. In one, he proved the existence of the atom by explaining Brownian motion. In another, he described the photoelectric effect and proposed the existence of light quanta. The third was his famous paper of special relativity. The impact of these papers was almost unimaginable. They spawned innovations such as nuclear power, lasers, iPods, GPS devices, and much more. However, there was a fourth, often forgotten paper that described how to determine the number of molecules in a liquid. It was an important paper for the time, but in context it hardly seems worth the effort. Why did he bother? Because he still hadn't earned his doctorate and needed a more conventional idea for his dissertation. The next principle is called cross domains. While deep knowledge of a specific field is important, it is not enough. In fact, research suggests that many professionals actually get worse over time. Just as familiarity breeds contempt, constant exposure to similar fact patterns produces lazy thinking. As it's been said before, breakthrough innovation happens when ideas are synthesized from more than one domain. Pick any important discovery, whether it is Darwin and natural selection, Picasso and cubism, Einstein and relativity, and invariably they used concepts from two or more fields. Increasingly, real-world innovation is reflecting this reality. Some of the world's most exciting research is happening now at the Santa Fe Institute, which was set up specifically for interdisciplinary investigation. In a similar vein, most software today is developed using Agile and Scrum methods, both of which emphasize cross-functional teams. If you're looking for answers to hard questions, it always helps to broaden your search. The last but not the least principle of creativity is called the keep it. Creativity is not something that comes easy, even to geniuses. Immanuel Kant toiled in obscurity for most of his life when reading David Hume awakened him from his slumbers. Hume himself saw his first book, A Treatise on Human Nature, flop before he gained fame decades later, and today his treatise is considered a masterwork. At the age of 35, the poet Charles Bukowski lay penniless and near death in a charity ward from a bleeding ulcer that was caused by more than a decade of heavy drinking, tawdry rooming houses and questionable women. Later, after he gained fame and fortune, a reporter asked him to what he owed his enormous success. Endurance, he said. And the evidence is not just anecdotal. A study of musicians found that the number of masterpieces produced is highly correlated to overall productivity. The more work you do, the better your work gets. Finally, any serious review of paradigm-breaking creative accomplishment is sure to find a pattern of constant revision. Creative geniuses tend to be less the ones with the quickest answers and more the ones who keep working till they get it right. Wow, this brings us to the end of this short lecture on the principle of creativity. Till we see again, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and also drop your comments so we can know your reactions towards the video. Thanks for watching. Wisdomreality TV love you.